Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Urban Off-Road. Today, I am going to show you how to put a 2.5 gallon air tank and onboard air system on your Jeep Gladiator JT. Mine is the Mojave, but this will work on all trim models. So to get started, we have our Viair 2.5 gallon air tank. This one I believe has 5 ports. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 1 on the bottom, so 6. So this one is a 6-port air tank. So you need your air tank, you need an onboard air compressor, and you're going to need connections. These are the connections that I have for the hose, and then I have my ARB quick release valve. I think ARB went above and beyond with this. I think it's the best design that I've seen as far as the air chuck release part of it. And so that's why I went with this one. So this is what we have. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to be running a Viair 80 amp relay to my air compressor. So the switch box here, you just plug in straight to this side, just 2 wires going to your relay. Then your power is going to be in from the battery out to the compressor, and that's it. So I've got this here. I'm going to hook this up. I'm going to run the wires all the way to the back. I tend to get way ahead of myself in these videos and I don't film a lot. So what I did was I found myself a little bracket that I already had that I can make work. What I'm going to do is I took out this bolt here. I took out this ground here. I moved the ground to the other spot where another ground was anyways, and it fit just fine. So this one is going to go right here. It's going to bolt right to there, and as you can see, the little bracket's going to come down, right? So the way I'm going to do it is this is going to go down, this is going to go underneath that bracket. I put a nutsert in here and I'm just going to bolt it down. So that's how basic and simple this is going to be. I went ahead and got myself some 16 gauge wire, and I'm going to go and put the end pieces on. I'm going to connect them to here because they're going to be facing the battery and I won't be able to get to them once it's on. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done and I will get right back to you. So this is what it looks like installed. I've got the bracket here. It's ugly, don't care, it's mine. I've got the wires running to it. I've got the heated shrink tube on it with the connections to connect those down there. So this is as far as I've gotten so far. Now I'm going to go ahead and route these wires here. I'm going to go ahead and put this nylite relay box back. Alrighty, I got it all buttoned up, got everything put away. I have my power wire run to the nylite 6-gang switch housing, switch pod, whatever you want to call it. I've got my relay hooked up with the power and the ground. Ground is grounded here, and the power is going to the box, which goes to the switches inside the Jeep. Next, we're going to take these 2 here. I'm going to run a power wire from the battery straight to the battery. It's going to come around somewhere around here, make it look as professional as I can. It's going to go underneath everything. It's going to come back up and it's going to go to one of these posts. I'm going to hook up the battery positive here, and then I'm going to hook up and then I'm going to send this one to the back, straight to the compressor, and we will go from there. Alrighty, so this is how far I got. So I shrink tube the end of it here to make it a nice clean finish. Then I have my 2 pieces here, my ground, my power. Power is going to go onto here. like so. Ground is going to go right there to the ground, and I have it right now routed down through the fender well here, and it's kind of just all coiled down on the ground. So you can see at the end of it, I did my shrink tube and I have my power and ground coming out. I don't know how much of this I'm going to use. All I did was throw it along the truck and, you know, cut extra. So that's down there. I'm going to route it. There's a harness going all the way to the back already. I'm just going to follow that harness straight to the back. I'm going to go ahead and bolt this up. I'm going to go ahead and close the hood, and that's going to be it for the electrical portion of it, until we get to the back and we hook up that relay, the pressure switch. But underneath the hood, this is it. That's all there is to it. Here you have it, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the power wire running underneath the truck. Got it grounded, and I lied. There was one more wire we had to do. We had to do the battery power. So I got one more wire running underneath everything and going to the battery positive, coming back to here. So this is battery positive. This is the switch for the relay. We've got these two here, power and ground. That is also grounded here. And I wanted to use the same ground because I don't want to have multiple grounds on a circuit. I want to be able to know that I can just go to one spot, check the ground, make sure it's good. One spot, check the power, make sure it's good, and then move on from there. And that's, again, why I just have the solid wire running all the way down. The least amount of connections we have, the least amount of different spots we have to check, the easier it is to diagnose an issue if there is one. Hey guys, welcome to day 2 on the onboard air system. I'm terrible at this, I know it, but I started working without filming, and then I realized as I was going to put the air tank on that I didn't film anything that I did. So the markings here, I just marked where the frame ends, where I want to put it. So I'm going to put you back here and I will show you what I did on the frame. So this is the location that I chose for the onboard air tank. The air tank is going to go here on this side. I was going to put it on this side because there's much more room. The only problem with that is there's a big heat shield that goes right here, connects to this bolt and this bolt that comes out of the frame, which is why I had to take it off, because I got to get this bolt through. But it would have just been too close to the exhaust, and I wouldn't have been able to do, the two ports would have ended up somewhere over here, and being that close to the exhaust, it would have melted, whatever. Maybe not, but you know, better safe than sorry. I didn't want to ruin it, so it's going to go on this side. There's plenty of room. It's going to be tucked up way higher than the spare tire would have been anyway. So this is what she is going to look like. All right, guys, so these two ports on this side are actually going to be plugged, and I'm going to use them for a later date when I get another air compressor that's going to be mounted on this side of the frame here. So this is going to be a double air compressor system eventually. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, I was just thinking about it, and I didn't tell you guys anything about the parts that I got or the tank. The tank is a Viair 2.5 gallon tank. Part number is 91025. That is for this particular 2.5 gallon tank. Also, the parts that I got, which are these pieces here. I got a pressure relief valve, 2 plugs, a drain cock, and this piece I won't be using because this is actually for a compression fitting, and I'm not using that style. So I will be using these 4, and then I'm going to use the other 2 air hose pieces that I have already. And so everything will work aside from this. And that is part number 90005. 90005. And that is for 150 psi rated tank, which we are only going to be running a max of 110 or 119, I believe, is my pressure relief. So we're not even going to be close to that. So we are good to go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here you have it. The completed air tank. So, like I said, on the one side, we have the plug. we have the pressure relief, which is 90 psi. It kicks on, and 120 it kicks off. So this 150 psi pressure relief that I have on the opposite end over here is going to be just fine. This is the drain. To open it, you just literally twist it, and you can drain out your tank. Make sure there's no moisture in your air. And you want to do that at the end of every day. You want to make sure that this is open so no moisture builds up in your tank and destroys your tank from your inside out. I have my two couplers on the end here. The reason that I did the couplers is because I want to make this a quick disconnect system in case something happens to the tank. Say this gets sheared off and the tank no longer holds air. I want to be able to disconnect the hose from the compressor and use it direct. So that's why I did the two couplers there. And then on the bottom side is the 150 psi pressure relief. So this is actually going to be facing upwards. So if this ever goes off, there's a major problem with the system, and I got to shut it off and see what's going on. So this is it. I'm going to go ahead and get this mounted, and then we're going to move on to the air compressor itself. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it is installed. It is ready to be plumbed. So I'm thinking I'm just going to bolt the air compressor, because you can have it in any orientation. It doesn't have to be what you would call up and down. You can actually hang the cylinder down, and there's no oil in it, so it's not gonna hurt the system at all. So I think I'm just gonna actually bolt it straight to the bed instead of going to the frame like I was going to go to the frame over here, and just have a real short little airline coming here, and then having another airline going up over the frame, and then up under where that little square is in the bed of the truck for the Rubicon 12-volt system. But I think I'm just going to bolt it to the bed. I don't think having bolts in the bed is a bad thing. I can have them coming straight down from these points here, this point, and this point. These points are the higher points, so I wouldn't want to bolt there. But on the lower points, I don't think it's going to matter. So let me go ahead and get situated. I'm going to mess with this pump, put it in a few different spots, and see if I can't find the best place for it. Let's move stuff around and we'll figure it out. Alrighty guys, so I have my air compressor, and again this is the Smittybilt 2781 air compressor. I have it on my little makeshift workbench here, which is actually my welding table. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these feet back on that I took off. What my plan is I'm going to put nutserts in these holes, these outside holes. You see there's 3 holes. I'm going to put them on the outside widest holes, put a couple of nutserts so I can fit some M6 bolts through there. And you can orient these either inside like so, or you can flip it around and have it go outside. And since I'm going to be using this is actually going to be upside down. So this is going to be facing the ground, and then this airline coming out here. And I would really love to get rid of this also, but then I would need to get a manifold and some other stuff, and I don't want to do all that. So I'm going to mount these in this orientation. Reason being, because I'm going to have those nutserts facing this direction. This part is going to be up against the bed underneath the truck, next to the air tank that I just installed. So I'm going to go ahead and take these 2 Allen keys out, these Allen bolts. I'm going to mount this up. I'm going to put some nutserts in each one of these 4 holes. I'm going to get that ready. I'm going to mount it onto here, and I'm going to get this thing ready to mount onto the bed itself. Alrighty, so here's what we've got. I did mount the air compressor straight to the bed. So the air compressor is mounted, and like I said before, these can be mounted in any orientation. They can be up or down or whatever, it doesn't matter. There's no oil in these guys, so you're not going to screw anything up by mounting it upside down how I have mine. I also completely mounted the air tank in the earlier video. I got the heat shield put back on. So all I need to do is run an airline from here to there. And then I'm going to run another airline from here. It's going to go up above the frame. It's going to come back and it's going to go straight up here. And that is where the ARB air chuck is going to meet in the bed. You have access to that little box where that I showed you in the bed of the truck. That's where I'm going to put the ARB chuck. So the other line is going to route straight up under there. And that's how I have it. So I couldn't, my factory switches would not work, or my factory connections wouldn't work with this thick of a power cable. So I had to just use two separate male and female plugs that are waterproof connections. And then I did the same thing on the air compressor itself. So I have the pressure relief valve on the air compressor itself. I've got a pressure relief valve on the tank. It's a bit overkill, but I would rather have overkill and be safe than screw something up along the way. So this is where I'm at so far. It's not bad, and like I said, underneath this Gladiator there is still a lot of extra room to mount another. I mean, that ARB, I think it's a half-gallon air tank, would fit perfectly in there with no modifications at all. Just a couple of holes in the bed to mount it down, a couple of nut certs, and you're done. You won't have to go through all this like I did. I just wanted the bigger tank because I run air tools. And with the Smitty built, with only having one, I'm not going to be able to run any air tools. But once I get the second one, I'm going to mount the second one here, and then I'm going to have both lines coming into this air tank, and then I will be able to run any air tool I want, aside from probably cut off wheels and stuff like that. They just burn through air too quickly. But what do you think? This is it. This is underneath my Jeep Gladiator. This is where the spare tire used to go. As you can see, the curvature of the heat shield over here, that's where the spare tire was. So now we have an onboard air system where the spare tire used to be. Not bad. Hello again, everybody. So as you can see, I failed at filming again, and I went ahead and finished the onboard air system, but I will run through quickly how I did it and what I did to get where I am. So this hose that I used for this entire system is a Continental 3/8 line that I used, and I just cut it up as I needed it. There is where I put the ARB air chuck. Here's my airline, and as you can see, it extremely easily pops in, and when you want to release it, it pops right out. So there's my ARB air chuck. I've got the line running behind, in between the sheet metal for the outside of the bed and the bed itself. It's running right in the middle, right down. So you can see where it's connecting, and I do like overkill a lot, so there are two hose clamps on there, helping it so it doesn't leak air. And then it's got a nice swooping bend to it. It comes over, goes over the frame so it doesn't hang low, goes over the frame again, comes down, swoops around, and goes into the air tank. Then this one here goes from the air tank, swoops, goes up above, comes back around, and goes into the air compressor itself. And then I have the pressure relief valve, or not, I'm sorry, the pressure cutoff switch, and the pressure relief valve is up top. And there is my power and ground wire that's coming directly from the battery. I'm sorry, it's coming from the relay. So it's going from the battery to the relay. You guys saw that earlier in this video, right? And then from the relay out to here. After looking over these for a little bit, I'm not really happy with any of them to be a compressor switch. So the only one that I'm looking at is, let's see if I could get her focused in here, is this one right there with the little piston on it for the air compressor. I think that this one is going to be best suited for my needs because at least it's a little motor, so you for the most part know what it is. So here it is, my first switch actually functioning on my 6-gang system. I just newly put this in here. I don't have any lights hooked up to it. I don't have anything hooked up to it. I literally just hooked this up and I haven't had anything on it since I got this Gladiator. So this is the first thing that I'm actually putting on this. And to be honest with you, I don't like it. I don't like the switch, the little sticker. I think it looks, it just doesn't fit. You know what I mean? Like, it should be the same cutout as the switch panel itself, you know? That just looks stupid. So it's on there for now. It's the only thing that I can find that would even relate to a compressor at all, because it's got a little piston on it, and that's the only thing that I can relate to it. So anyways, I got this on there. The truck is fired up. So let's go ahead and get this compressor started, and we'll see how long it takes to pump up this the air tank. So I'm gonna start it in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Two and a half minutes. It took 2 minutes and 32 seconds to fill the air compressor. So just for shits and giggles, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to and it does that. It tries to keep it at such a high volume. The Smittybilt just wants to keep pumping and keep that pressure up. So it'll keep good the whole time. It's weird. So I'm going to lower this tire down to what I run off-road, which is about 12 PSI. So give me just a second. I'm going to run this down to 12 PSI, and I'm going to see how long it takes the Smittybilt compressor to refill this tire back to, say, 36 PSI. So this is what I'm using, guys, to deflate my tire right now. This is the Rhino USA Pro quick deflators. I've already got it set to where I have my PSI at, I believe I set them to 12 PSI. So you literally just screw these on. And you got the air coming out. And then you walk away. So that's going to deflate it down to 12 PSI. I don't have to touch it until air stops coming out of it. These, if you don't have these, guys, is a game changer. This Rhino USA Pro deflators, I will link it in the description below the video if you want to check those out. You can use code URBANOFFROAD10 to get 10% off of your next purchase from Rhino USA as well. So this is not a sponsored video, by the way. This is just me throwing in a free plug because I love their product. So it comes with 4, right? It comes with 4 deflators. So you screw that one in. By the time this one is done, you're walking around your vehicle screwing in the other 3. By the time you get to the 3rd one, this one's usually done. So you know what, while that's doing that, look at how easy this is. Again, I'll just show you again how easy this is. There you go. I got her plugged in there, and I haven't used my air up hoses in forever, so this is what I'm working with. This was actually from my, I drive an 18-wheeler, so this was from that, and I wasn't using it. I got a brand new one, and this hose was just super, super long for the 18-wheelers, right? So I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely hate being on my knees refilling these tires. So if you guys are interested in this, it's a Milton, and you can see the gauge perfectly through the glass gauge. And at the end of it, I put on a locking valve stem part there. So the way I have this set up, see, now the air is completely out of here. No more air is coming out. My tire pressure is set where it needs to be. So you just unscrew it, and you're ready to go play off-road. So, get this guy plugged in here, and let's see where we're at. It's actually right about 20 PSI, so I've actually got to reset that. So, from 20 PSI, let's see how long it takes. You know what, we'll go up to 40. So from 20 PSI to 40, let's see how long it takes. Unhook, and I do use my valve stem caps. I don't like mud getting in there when I'm playing in the dirt. So there you go. What was that? 30 seconds to go from 20 to 40 PSI, right? So with that 2.5 gallon air tank, makes a huge difference when you're filling up these tires. If you can save a minute on each tire, I mean, that's a game changer, right? I feel like that's a game changer. So if you normally air down to 15, adding another 20 PSI, you're gonna be at 35 PSI in 30 seconds. So I think it's an absolute game changer. I'm happy with it. I can't wait to go test it off-road. And with how quickly it airs up these tires, I wouldn't have any problem airing anybody else up that needed air, or their compressor took a crap, or what have you, you know? So I'm happy with it, guys. I'm really, really happy with it. I hope you guys liked the video. Much more content like this to come. If you could, please like the video. If you've gotten this far, especially, like the video. Comment below on what you think about the system, what you think I should have done differently. And make sure you share the video, and if you can, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I'm up to 54 subscribers as of today, so I'm still a baby channel, you guys. So any little bit of subscribers is going to help me. And if you like what you see, there's plenty more to come. I do off-roading videos. I do product review videos, install videos, as you saw today. And yeah, I appreciate everything, guys.